Greetings everyone, and welcome to my next video for Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. This is Chapter 8, An Ancient Civilization. So this right here is one of the longer chapters in the game up to this point, and it opens with some dialogue between Loki and Bayonetta, and something I mentioned in my last video is that moments like these are the ones that I like the most in this game, in terms of the story anyway. Here they're talking about Jean and how she saved Bayonetta's life and how Bayonetta is trying to do the same. And up to this point, you know, Loki's sort of been this rough and tumble kid, spouting off insults and one-liners and stuff. But I think here, he and Bayonetta grow a little closer and they understand each other a little more. So I think moments like that build the relationships between these characters are really good, as opposed to the general nonsense that makes up most of Bayonetta's narrative. So yeah, I like those, and I hope that there are more like those coming up. And so here you meet the next Infernal. I believe it's Greed. It's the Confuser of Elements. Very cool names. And so it's kind of a two-headed dog-like creature. Very cool. Pretty easy. His attacks are telegraphed pretty clearly. And so, again, I'm really digging the Infernal designs in this game. I would say even more than the Angels. I like that they're kind of this mix of robotic technology and, you know, just organic demons. So, really happy with those designs. I'm also very happy with the way this particular section of the world looks, with these, I guess, ancient civilization architecture around floating in the air. You can also go to the Gates of Hell again to unlock Chernobog, the next weapon. There's an Umbran Crow that you can grab. So, yeah, kind of getting back to this, it feels similar to one of the, or a couple of the chapters in the first Bayonetta, where you have to kind of spin these things around and unlock them and put the world back together. It's kind of funny how Loki gets his little headache like he usually gets, and he's like, well, I remembered, and so he runs off, and as you go to chase him, here comes Gollum, which, as you might remember from the first game, Gollum was this similar cube-like boss that turned into a giant hand with a sword and a snake and a dragon head, and similarly it goes through those types of transformations here. I had a little more trouble when he was in a sword form. I thought the attacks came a lot faster than they did in the first Bayonetta, and more frequently, but still very cool. And I think the frequency of attacks from your enemies in Bayonetta and the clarity of their telegraphs and tells makes combat in this game so much better. It was excellent in the first Bayonetta, but I just think things just feel a lot cleaner, a lot faster, and just much more fun in the sequel. So I'm just loving this game. I know I've mentioned it quite a bit in previous videos that this game just continues to impress, and yeah, I'm really digging it. So here you're kind of going through these portals and getting these, I guess almost energy sources, I guess, that will help you power up those structures that you saw just before that had no power going to them. So you have to bring these pieces back and then activate them, and then you go into a bit of a free fall section, and you want to be careful in those, and I'll kind of talk about those when they come up, but there are items that you can miss outside of just the currency. So here you'll meet the next angel. This might be a principality. Let's see what it says here. Yes, so allegiance. And this guy gave me a little bit of trouble. Something about his sword attacks, there's a sort of like a weird delay. So it takes a little getting used to to understand and get the timing of the evades right. Let's take him out. And then there are a few items in this area that you won't want to miss. There's this, which is almost automatic. You get the first piece of a new LP. And the second piece is also in this chapter. I'll show you where that is as well. But yeah, if you go to the back area before leaving, you'll get this item, which is half of a moon pearl, give you more magic. And then in this are ingredients for your concocting, which I still have not done. And so you go back to this area and activate that device. And you'll also get another page for your book. And so yeah, I'm really liking these chapters. These have a lot of different verses, a lot of hidden verses, which something I talked about earlier was the fact that I don't like that gameplay design element where you have to basically, it's almost like a pixel hunt. You have to walk around the stages and go to every corner to try to find and unlock all these encounters. But at the same time, these levels are fun to explore and traverse. So in that sense, I do kind of like them. They aren't just boring hallways, even though the game is pretty linear. There are a lot of little alcoves and things where you can find chests and your pieces of the LPs and things of that nature. So I really like that. Like here, you can jump onto these floating platforms, and inside of here is just a lollipop. So nothing major. And you can see actually in the background there that there's a piece of the LP. And so you just got to remember that that's there. And so instead of going into that doorway that will warp you to the next area to get the timepieces, you jump around it and you can get the second of 3 pieces for that LP. And then you'll trigger this hidden verse, which is verse 8. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to do in each of the levels. And you know, maybe it was because I didn't fully understand the gameplay systems and the way in which you explore in the first Bayonetta, but I didn't really feel like that was a big part of it. And I could be wrong, but I do just remember feeling like I didn't want to explore and I wanted to just keep moving on and getting through the game. And that could just be that this is a much better designed game than the original. Everything about it so far has just been really excellent. You know, I think something I don't like, and I've mentioned a couple times, is the story. But there's very little filler. There's no mini games. You know, there's still the quick time events, but you haven't had to ride a motorcycle. You did ride a piece of a building to fight a boss, but that's different than just riding a motorcycle for 10 or 15 minutes, or you know, the Space Harrier level from the first game where you're just flying for what feels like forever. It just felt a bit self-indulgent on Platinum's part, and I'm glad to see that so far there is nothing like that in this game. So after you take care of that encounter, there are 2 chests in the back area where you can get a lollipop and I believe a bunch of halos. On the other side here. And then this will take you into a submerged interior. And this will take you to the Muspelheim, however you say it, and this encounter where you just don't or can't touch the ground. And there are these platforms that you can fall on just in case. A pretty easy one. It's not in this chapter, but there's one coming up that took me probably a good hour or 2 to beat, and it's probably because I just went about it wrong. But it provided lots of challenge, lots of frustration, but I'm glad it was challenging. Most of these up to this point have not been too hard, and that's good. You know, I don't think that's a bad thing at all, that they have a nice difficulty curve. But there was one that just, kind of came out of nowhere and really threw me for a loop. So you explore this area more. This chest has broken witch heart, and then there's an encounter at the bottom that you have to go through in order to progress. And so right here, let's take care of these guys that were from the stage where you were up on, or when you first got the Snake Within ability. These were underwater in that chapter. I think that was the cathedral stage. So take care of them. A lot of mistakes here. But yeah, I'm getting really, really addicted to the combat in this game. And I really should try some of the other weapons. I just feel most comfortable with the guns. So this will break apart and you take them back to the first area. Loki opens up the portal and you head on back. And something that I always do in this game is whenever I enter a new area, I kind of swing the camera around, because there's more often than not a hidden area or a chest or something you can get behind you. So always good to look around. And then this one, I didn't show the whole thing, but you just basically have to full combo this encounter. It takes me way longer than it should, and I think I only get gold. So these are starting to get a little more difficult to pure platinum. Yeah, silver on time. So not a good one. And I think, so now my health is onto the second row. And an interesting note is Bayonetta 1, I didn't even come close to that. I don't think I got my health up to the second bar, and I don't even think I had too many magic reserves either. Probably because I didn't do a lot of those challenges. I didn't find them to be all that fun, even though they're very similar to the ones in Bayonetta 2. I'm liking them here more than I did in the first game. So again, I think I'm just the curiosity is getting to me to go back to the first game and see how it compares to its sequel. Now that I've played through almost both of these games. So here you activate the second one, jump through it, and do your little free fall. I believe you can get a broken witch heart right there. I almost missed it. And this will take you to the end of the chapter. Break through the second barrier. There you go. So that was Chapter 8, an Ancient Civilization. I missed 2 verses, and I got a stone on verse 3. But gold overall, so I'm still maintaining gold or better throughout the game. That will probably change. Anyway, thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next video.